What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone has had a fantastic day so far. And the MW3 beta is officially over. Actually, really sad to see it because I was having a bit of fun, or a lot of fun, playing it. But in a few weeks, we will have the full launch of the game, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. And today, I just wanted to share my final thoughts and feedback on the beta and what I hope to see come full release. We're just gonna hop straight into it, starting off with the good. I feel like the good is the easiest to list off out of everything. Like I do have a lot I want to talk about, but we're just gonna start off with the good here. Um, some of the things that I did like with the game. So first off, I want to talk about the gunplay. The gunplay is amazing. I'll just say that right off the bat. It is amazing. I think it's amazing with all like the Infinity Ward-esque Call of Duties. The guns feel really good to use. It feels really good to fire a weapon, especially when firing at enemy players. It feels really satisfying to kill an enemy player as well. The hit marker sounds are also really satisfying, as well as the death sounds when eliminating enemy. I'm not sure if you know what I mean, like with the death sounds. But just the hit marker sounds and that overall, it sounds really nice. I noticed some of the weapons firing sounds seem to be the same. It was kind of like that with Cold Wars, in the alpha and the beta. In Cold War, it kind of just sounded like they got some coins and put it in like an empty tin can or empty soup can and shook it around, and that was the gun sounds that they used. But yeah, I mean, um, I did notice that some of the guns do sound the same, so hopefully they do. Maybe they will fix that for release, but overall it is really satisfying to use and fire the weapons in this game. Up next, the movement. Obviously, I think everybody saw this. Obviously, the movement in this game is a huge step up from Modern Warfare 2's movement. It feels so much more fluid and natural. It is overall a great addition to how the flow of the game goes. Just with the slide canceling and the fluidity, everything seems to be pretty smooth, and it's just really like satisfying to see that the game can actually like run well, I think. And speaking of flow, I think the flow of the game is good to an extent, if not for one thing, which I will get into later. Um, another thing I do like about the movement though is that the tac sprint does not reset after slide canceling. That may be a bit of a hot take. I don't know. It's maybe kind of weird to say, but I think it does slow down the game a tad bit because the game already is pretty fast paced. So I think not resetting your tac sprint kind of overall balances the pace of the game. I don't know. I just think it has a really nice balance. I think it has a really nice balance to the pacing of the game. It probably would be great to have that ability to reset your tac sprint, but I think for now it's okay. We'll see what they do. We'll see how it is in the full release, and what they change up later on. But speaking of slide canceling is back. I think it's safe to say that everyone is really happy to have this back in the game, myself included. Modern Warfare 2 having no slide canceling. I mean, not to try to sound like a sweater or anything, but it was pretty bad. I mean, they had it in the beta and then they removed it. I'm not sure why, but it is what it is. We have it back, so it's nice. Some other things, I guess, like miscellaneous. I guess not exactly miscellaneous, but just things that aren't like as major, I guess. But I guess this can be considered a major one. Is red dots on the minimap are finally back, which is amazing. It took a little bit of getting used to for me, since I'm kind of trained to not look at the minimaps from Modern Warfare 2. But I did eventually get the hang of it. So it ended up being okay. Another thing that I am absolutely so happy to have is dead silence as a perk, or in this game in the form of gear called the covert sneakers. It genuinely feels so amazing to finally be able to have a way to like flank and make some more stealthy plays while not having to worry about somebody on the other team sitting in a corner with their headset cranked up to 100 that's able to pinpoint your exact location from the other side of the map. It's just ridiculous that the game is kind of designed this way to be able to just sit in a corner and not even move your left stick at all and just fully perfectly track you through wherever the heck you're coming from, and then immediately dump a mag into you before you even walk around the corner. It is just ridiculous. So it is nice to have that little bit of sneakiness. Speaking of which, I do actually like the new gear system that they have with this game, along with the vest. I think it's pretty innovative, something different, something that we haven't seen before. I think we haven't seen this before. I'm not sure if this was in the original Modern Warfare 3. I think I've been seeing people say that it was. I'm not entirely sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I do like the way they did the perks this year so far. There are a few things that should be tweaked, should be changed, like the descriptions for the vests not displaying everything that they do. I believe it's the second vest that gets rid of your lethals. It gives you an extra, gets rid of your lethals, gives you two tactical slots and an extra gear slot, but it doesn't say that it does that. So hopefully that gets fixed. And I think a few other vests have that problem too. So hopefully they actually fix that in the full release. Now, going straight into the bad. That's all for the good. We're going straight to the bad now. Now, going back to my original statement about the flow of the game, the spawns were absolutely busted in the beta. Playing on Rust was pretty atrocious to say the least. I would literally have players spawning in front of me as I'm running around trying to, just get a different position. And they would spawn in either groups of 2 or 3, and I would just get mowed down off of a streak. Either that or it'd be the complete opposite, and I would spawn in front of enemy players and get murdered. Or I would spawn, behind like the whole team. I'd shoot, and when I shoot one, kill one, the rest of them turn around and just take me out. It was pretty bad. On high rise also, specifically domination on high rise, I think the spawns were probably arguably worse on this map. Players would spawn instead of on the top floor, they would spawn on the bottom. And what I mean by that is, you obviously know the second floor, like where the stairs are and everything. That would include like that would be the same for friendly players. I think I've seen some people talking about the spawns in this game being vertically uh, instead of horizontally. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I think Exclusive Ace made a video on that. He has like a dedicated video on that. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I've watched it, so I can't really explain it myself because I'm not too sure how it works. But from what I know, the spawns are vertically set instead of horizontally, which is a little weird. Because pretty random, honestly. Because you'd expect someone to spawn, I guess, in a building or something on the other side of the map, like on their flag, but they would just spawn underneath, like on B or something. So I guess to put it in an example, say your team has the A and B flag, while the enemy team has the C flag, and you yourself are at like the A flag along with maybe a second teammate. You're both at the A flag. You're on your half of the map that you control. The enemy team would spawn either behind A flag, like on A in the back of the building, where you normally would, or underneath the A flag, like, at the stairs. And it would be vice versa for your team. Like, your teammates could spawn on the C flag, underneath the enemies. Either that or in the middle of B, either that in the middle of B flag, the area you already control, which it was really, really weird, and it was really hard to just keep track of. It was super random. I mean, I guess it did get a little bit predictable, because, you would see, like, oh, I killed a few enemies, they're probably going to spawn, down low now, but it's just really weird like that way. I mean, people, normally would expect them to spawn on their own flag, the C flag, if they controlled C, but no, instead they spawn down low in the middle, which is really, really weird. So hopefully they do actually fix that come the full release. And if they don't, then I think the game might be a little bit dead in the water at that point, because the spawns are, a key role to how the flow of the game goes. So we'll hopefully see some good changes there. Now, for the elephant in the room, we've been seeing it every year. It's talked about literally every year. It's like a hot topic every year a new Call of Duty comes out. Skill based matchmaking, or for short, SBMM. It's been a thing since Modern Warfare 2019. Apparently it's always been a thing. Apparently there's always been some form of skill based matchmaking, but ever since Modern Warfare 2019 release, it has been terrible. It's been cranked up every single year to the max, and this year it's arguably the worst it's been so far. Everyone says every year, myself included, that it gets worse with every Call of Duty that releases, and honestly, it is the absolute truth. But this year, it feels really, really bad. I've talked a lot of good about the game so far, and the movement, all the little cool little features that they have in the game now that they brought back. But the skill-based matchmaking is just like, wow. I can't even wrap my head around how bad it is this year. I've said a lot of good about the movement so far too, but every single lobby is full of people slide canceling, drop shopping, bunny hopping, snaking, using head glitches, just holding angles. Just I can't really put it into words because it's just so bad, and it's just full of other crazy, sweat-filled, G Fuel snorting CDL rejects. That might be a little bit extreme, but oh my god, I don't know how else to describe it, because the people on this game are cracked out of their goddamn minds. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a sweat myself. I mean, I try hard a lot too, And I do not like having to experience this every single match. I really would enjoy not having to use the absolute best loadouts and try my absolute hardest just to have a slight edge, and even then barely win sometimes because my team is full of Smurfs while the other team is literally the entire Optic roster. It's just horrible. It's horrifying. It was just really annoying to deal with. So, I mean, I doubt they're gonna change it. I think SBMM is gonna be here to stay. So I guess we're here for the long haul. But holy hell, it was so bad. During like weekend two, especially when Xbox and PC players hopped into the mix. And in addition to the atrocious matchmaking, it feels as if the better I do, the more inconsistent the game gets. I think that's been a thing always, but yeah, like I said, this year it feels really bad. My ping in all of my games would either spike into the hundreds. I've had spikes into the 400s one time, or it'll be in the low tens. I'll have perfect connection sometimes, and it's just really weird. It's unpredictable. You don't really know what to expect from this game. Kind of like how Forrest Gump said, life's like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're gonna get. That's exactly how this game is. It's just you don't know what to expect. It's so inconsistent with the connection that you really just don't know what you're gonna get in your next game. It's terrible. It also feels like the TTK can be pretty inconsistent. That might be a decent thing. That definitely has something to do with the ping as well. I think, like I just said, with the bad ping. Um, but I've had interactions where it seems like I would die in like 2, 3 bullets, and it would take me about 6 to 7, maybe even more bullets to empty into a player before they finally would die. And there's times where it'd be the complete opposite, and I'm just an absolute god. I'm untouchable, and and nobody can kill me. I would go on streak after streak after streak after streak. Um, I did notice playing with a party seems to be the best way to make the matchmaking a bit more tame, because whenever I would play with a party, the matchmaking was a lot more tame. The matches were easier than they normally would be for me playing solo. So if you do have, a few dedicated friends that are willing to hop on with you, then I would suggest it. And it's just good to play with friends, too, because I think playing by yourself can be pretty boring. Especially in this game with this matchmaking and everything, playing by yourself is just terrible. Also, footsteps. The footstep audio is really was what was. Hopefully, it won't stay this way, but it was really bad. When I say it was really bad, I mean friendly and enemy's footsteps all sound the exact same, which would make it difficult to differ from the two. That's why I was really glad when I was able to unlock covert sneakers, because I wouldn't hear my own loud ass footsteps. If I had another team running the sneakers, I wouldn't hear their loud elephant footsteps either. So it was, really nice to have that, have the addition of the covert sneakers as an unlockable. But the footstep audio in general for the first week, it was just horrible. It was so hard to differ from enemy and friendly footsteps. I would, find myself either snapping behind me, trying, seeing if it was a friendly or enemy behind me, or I would just keep running and then I would get shot in the back and think, oh my god, that was an enemy. What the hell? It it was just really bad altogether. There was I forget which one it is, but there is a piece of gear that was supposed to reduce combat noise and enhance enemy footsteps. But I think it did the opposite. It enhanced friendly footsteps. So yeah, I'm really hoping that that gets fixed, because the audio and the matchmaking and the connections, all that combined is not going to spell a lot of good for the game. So hopefully they do get that fixed when the full release comes out. But anyways, that's about all I wanted to talk about. I think that wraps it up for the video today. Overall, I think the game is great and has a lot of potential to be the best COD we've seen out of all the modern Call of Duties from 2019 and on. The devs have been listening to feedback, as we saw in week 2 of the beta with the movement and player visibility changes. So if they keep this up, then I think this game can turn out to be a really solid title. Aside from all that, I do like the game for what it is. So I think it gets some of the major issues resolved, spawns and connection consistency specifically. And I think that will help the game a ton. But I mean, the spawns will get fixed. If the connection consistency doesn't get fixed, if the audio and everything doesn't get fixed, then I think that might that's gonna spell a lot of bad for the game. That game might be dead in the water for me and for everybody else. So hopefully they do listen. All they need to do is listen to the feedback and expand upon it and work on it when it's given. But yep, that about wraps it up. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully this was informational to you, and form your own opinions. form your own feedback. You know, you don't have to entirely listen to mine, but you know, if you have similar, if you had similar, you know, opinions on the game like I had, then you know, great. But if you have your own, then you know, feel free to air them out or you know, let the devs know. I mean, they have a Trello board and everything, so you know, add into that Trello board. You know, we need these things resolved. You know, we want the game to be good this year. 'Cause so far it is good, and we want it to stay that way. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next one. Love ya. Peace.